Hello, YouTube. Um. Hmm. Alright, so. Here's what we're doing. We're gonna be starting a tutorial video. Gonna be a tutorial video. I'm gonna show you basically how to start playing the game, how to get ready playing the game. I'm gonna try to not show any cutscenes to ruin any story aspect or any dialogue. So basically what you're gonna want to do on your first playthrough is definitely 100% start with Knight. Knight class has the heaviest armor, but in this game you can still mid-roll while being Knight class. It's got a 100% blocking shield and some very good armor on it. And a very good starter weapon as well. You can make your character look however you want. For the burial gift, I'd go with Sovereignless Soul, because Life Ring gives you diminishing returns. The blessings are pretty much useless in this game. I mean, they can heal you past your Estus Flask, but you also can only use them once, and they're very rare. Fire bombs are only really good for the first boss. Fire gem, enemies can block both fire and regular damage from a fire gem, and it doesn't scale anymore. Gold coins I'm going to be getting for the sake of this video. But I would recommend Sovereignless Soul, and then these last two items are basically online play items. So I would go with the Sovereignless Soul, but I am going to get the gold coin for the sake of this video. Alright, and let's go. Oh. Alright, so you're gonna spawn here. Oh, 1 second. Alright, so you're gonna spawn here. I would 100% on your first playthrough definitely read these messages. You'll just walk on top of them and press A. So, for enemies, you want to roll around a lot. So, when an enemy's about to attack you, you can see them wind up. Every enemy has a wind up animation. You want to roll at the last possible second when the enemy's about to attack you, and roll towards them so you can get your attack in. Watch. So, when there's an item on the ground, there will be a white aura around it. You'll definitely want to pick that up. When you're standing behind an enemy, you can backstab them for extra damage. And also, when you're standing in front of an enemy and they attack, you can riposte. So, in order to heal in this game, you press X to use your items. So basically you're just gonna wanna go through this area, grab all the items, and kill all the enemies. And then make sure not to run off this cliff. You're gonna wanna go left up the cliff edge to the first bonfire in the game. You rest at a bonfire and it allows you to save your well, not save your progress, but it allows you to, You respawn at a bonfire when you die. If you time it right, you can get a parry. And then riposte, which is a parry is the bit you do with the shield if you time it just right. And then the riposte is an attack right after you parry. In this game, you're gonna want to memorize where the enemies are. It is very useful to do. Memorize where the enemies and the items are. Due to this being a third-person game with a free camera, you're going to want to lock onto enemies when you're attacking them. In order to do that, you'll press the right stick in to lock on. The enemy will stay at the center of the screen when you're locked on, and you can take your hand off of the camera stick and use it for rolling or healing. In order to refill your Estus flask, which is basically your healing potion in this game, you're going to want to go back to your bonfire that you lit and rest at it, and it will fully heal you, fully fill up all your bars, and it'll give you full Estus. So over here, you're going to want to jump. So in order to jump in this game, you have to be running, and then you press the jump button, which is pressing in the left stick on an Xbox controller. So coming up here is the first boss of the game, the Eudix, Judge of Ash Gundyr. Gundyr. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the sword from his chest, and then you're going to want to get behind him. So for the bosses in this game, the most strategy is to keep moving in one direction, and when you're locked on, if you hold right, you'll walk in a circle around an enemy. And you know you're locked on when there's a tiny white dot on the enemy. So you're going to want to be moving in a circle, and then as soon as he starts attacking, you're going to want to watch him, figure out when he's going to hit you, and then when he's just about to hit you, you're going to want to roll. Rolling gives you invincibility frames, and it keeps you from getting hit. So you need to time your rolls properly. So let's get going. So once you defeat the boss, you'll notice there's a message that says Ember Restored. When your Ember is restored, that you get an extra boost to your health bar and you can summon phantoms. But there's also a con to being Embered, is you can be invaded by other players. So what you're gonna want to do is go the opposite direction that you came in and open up these doors here. There's an item to your left here, not very important, very unimportant, really. And then you're gonna want to go to your left here, they're down this cliff face. So, enemies can drop items at a random percentage. So, when you kill an enemy, you can go ahead and pillage its corpse and you'll get an item from them. And you can tell where an item is because there's a white aura on the ground. Careful around this corner here, there's a dog. Dogs are very annoying in this game. So just follow the same path I'm following here to pick up all the items. Don't pick up this item yet, though, because it will aggro these men. And if you aggro them, then they will both attack you at the same time. So if you want to have it easier, attack them one at a time whilst they're laying down, and then pick up the item. So, in this game, each item, let me pull my mouse up here, has a attribute requirement. So, if you look at your attributes over here, you can compare the symbols. So, this requires 10 strength and 10 dexterity in order to wield it. And it also scales with the attributes with a D in strength and a D in dexterity. The lower the letter is, so like A would be better than B, the higher it scales. So you notice there's a physical attack on it, and then there's a plus sign, and then a 14 after that. That's your scaling damage. If you have a weapon that scales with a stat, and you invest in that stat by leveling up, then you will get a higher physical attack attribute bonus, basically. And the same thing goes for shields, with how much they guard and how much they attack if you have an attacking type shield. And then you've got your critical. So the highest critical in the game is 130. 100 is the standard critical. So basically critical is your backstab damage or your riposte damage. And then you've got additional effects. So this one would be bleeding, this one would be poison, and this one would be frost. And then if depending on the weapon or the enchantment on it, you'll have different attack powers. So you can have magic, fire, lightning, dark attacks, or regular physical. Physical is the best all around, but some enemies are weak to different forms of attack. Then you've got your armor ratings. So for your armor ratings, you've got your physical absorption, And that is the main one. See how these ones are off to the side a small amount and smaller? This is a branch off of your physical absorption. So this is the main number you're going to want to be looking at when you're getting armor, is your physical absorption. That's how much damage it blocks. And then you've got the weight, your weight ratio. Your weight ratio, in this game, you don't want to go over 70%. The number up here is how much you're actually carrying. The weight ratio is what percentage of your maximum carry weight you have. So for this game, in your weight ratio, you don't want to go over 70%. If you go over 70%, each item that you have equipped, except for consumables, so a shield, a sword, or armor, or a talisman, or any sort of thing that goes in your weapon slot, or armor slot, or ring slot, will add to your weight ratio. If you go over 70%, you'll start doing what we call in the community as fat rolling. And fat rolling is where you are overburdened, basically, and you can't roll as fast, you don't get as many invincibility frames, and it's all around harder to beat the game. So you want to keep under 70% rate ratio. Your armor also has durability, which is how many hits it can take before it breaks. It will not permanently break. You can take it to a smith and get it repaired. And then you've got your resistances, so you resist bleed, poison, frost, curse, and such. Now, in this game, it's not as important as in previous games, but there's poise, and poise basically is a calculation of how many hits you can take, depending on the circumstance, before you stagger. Now, in most circumstances, you'll stagger instantly, but in some circumstances, which we'll get talking to later, such as hyper armor, you will have a greater poise value than normal. Now, don't feel discouraged due to all of these calculations and such. You will get used to it. You really will. I've only been playing this game for a few months now, and I'm 100% used to everything. I've been used to it for months. It took me like the first few weeks to figure it out, and now I'm just sharing that knowledge with you. So now that we're done talking about all of our attributes to our armor, weapons, and shields, let's get back to the gameplay. So, in order to progress through the game, you're going to want to go into this shrine here. Talk to this lady. She's very nice to you. She is the way that you level up. You cannot level up unless you are talking to her. I would invest in Vigor right now.
Farewell, Ashen.
So, your different attributes. Vigor increases your maximum health. Attunement increases your maximum spells you can carry and your maximum amount of spell power, basically. Endurance increases your amount of stamina. There is a stamina bar in this game. Vitality increases your maximum carry weight. Strength increases your maximum weapon damage with strength weapons. Dexterity increases your maximum dexterity damage with dexterity weapons. Intelligence increases your spell damage and pyromancy damage, and faith increases your miracle damage or effectiveness and your pyromancy damage or effectiveness. And luck is basically a useless stat in this game. All it does is scale with hollow weapons, bleed weapons, and it increases your ability to find items on corpses. This is the Shrine Handmaiden. She will sell you items, and you can sell the items that you don't want to her. Now that we're done with that, this is Andre. He's the blacksmith of the shrine. He smiths your weapons. He can reinforce them and make them do more damage, or he can infuse them with special gems in order to cause them to do different types of damage. He can also reinforce your Estus flask and allot your Estus. Now, I always go with full Estus in my regular flask. The Ashen Estus flask, which is the blue one, allows you to refill your special bar, which allows you to do special attacks or cast spells. But since we aren't doing very many of those, we will be allotting all of our Estus into our main flask, which heals us. In order to progress, place the sword in the fire. You have to be coming at it from Andre's direction, so you have to be facing straight towards it. And now you can rest at this bonfire. And there's a new option here, which is travel. You're gonna need to use this a lot in the game. In order to go to different locations, you teleport to them using the travel item. And in order to progress in the game, you click on travel. And I took a while for me to figure this out. I might just be dumb, but in order to progress, you need to click on High Wall of Lothric in order to continue the game. So let's do that now. In order to progress, we're going to go through this door here. And then we are going to light this bonfire so we can teleport to it. You can only teleport to bonfires. And I explained how bonfires function earlier. We are not going to go this direction. This looks like the obvious direction. We are not going to go that direction. We are going to turn around and we're going to head down this direction. We're going to hit that guy, and then we need to run as fast as we can to get this guy, because if that guy screams, then it will wake up everyone in the area, and they will all start attacking you, which is not good. So, there's one up here as well. If we kill them, see, these soldiers aren't dead. They're just resting. But if we allow that guy to scream, they will all start attacking us. So now you can pluck them off one at a time. Watch out for this guy up here. He will start chasing you once you round the corner. Now we're going up here getting a relatively useless item, but it is fun to use. It's called the binoculars. They allow you to see items in distant regions and allow you to scope out the area. So you can go ahead and go into your inventory, equip the binoculars. And it just allows you to zoom in a little bit and look around. Right, so first item we're getting in this area, well, not first, but you know what I mean. You're going to want to go around this dragon here, and behind him, if you drop down here, there is an item called the Gold Pine Resin. It enchants your weapon with lightning damage, and lightning damage is good for the first boss of the area. There's an item over here. Now this will get annoying by taking this ladder, so you can't actually drop down onto this wooden ledge here and then all the way down without taking any fall damage. So the strategy for this guy is to attack him and then block, and then attack him a couple times. Don't go up to the left there, because there is a dragon and it will kill you. So up here there is a relatively difficult enemy. It's called a Lothric Knight. They are very difficult to defeat. So what you're going to want to do is wait for it to exhaust its stamina, then stun lock it by attacking it a bunch of times. And then you're going to want to retreat and wait until it attacks again, then stun lock it by attacking it a bunch. So remember, when there's an item on the ground, there is a white aura around it. Watch out on your left through this door, there is a trap. Go ahead and slowly walk out on this plank if you're not comfortable. You can walk more slowly by holding the stick just barely in any direction. Go out this door here and up top. There is a bonfire, which again allows you to refill your health and your health potion, or Estus flask. I know it might make some people upset to hear me calling it a health potion, but that is the general use of it. So make sure to block when this guy throws knives at you. So there's a guy that comes up this ladder here. And there's also a guy on the right side. He crawls up over the ledge. Now, something I haven't explained yet is in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a bar. Right here. And that is your souls bar. That tells you how many souls you have. Souls in this game are used to level up and buy items. And you collect souls from any enemy that you kill. In the bottom left, you'll see 4 icons. One of them's empty. The top one is your spell bar. You can switch it by pressing up on the D-pad. The right one is your weapons bar. You can switch it by pressing right on the D-pad. The bottom one is your items bar. It's where all your items are that you equip. You can switch them around by pressing down. And the left one is your offhand or your shields bar. You press that by pressing left. Now, up here you're going to want to equip some fire bombs. Because this guy is like Udex Gundyr. He turns into a giant monster. That went well. So you're going to want to hit him 3 times and then dodge a couple times. Your fire bombs will greatly help here. And these guys drop an Ember and a Titanite Shard. Each time you kill one for the first time, it will guaranteed drop those items. Kill this lizard here, and it'll drop a Raw Gem, which we're going to need for later. It's one of those special gems I was talking about that allows you to change how your weapon handles. Now, you don't need to kill every single enemy in the game. If you're having trouble, it's completely acceptable to run past enemies and come back to them at a later date. You don't have to kill every enemy in the game, even if you complete the game. All that killing enemies does is allow you to level up more often and buy items. But some enemies are not worth it at the level you're at. For instance, the Pus of Man, which is what those black goo monsters are called, they are not worth killing unless you have fire bombs. Because they are so difficult to kill, it might possibly turn you away from the game and cause you to not wish to play it. Remember, there's a guy on the right here. He climbs up this ledge, and there's a guy on the ladder. You can do a plunging attack by tapping the attack button whilst falling over an extended distance. For instance, this Pus of Man here, you do not want to attack him. You can just run right past him, and he won't follow you. There's two of these guys here. And then two melees and two deserters. Crossbowmen. Over here, there are black fire bombs. And in here, there is another knight. This one wields a spear. So, for this area up here, you're going to want to be careful. There is an ambush on the left side. Walking through this doorway here, there is an ambush in this doorway here. There's a broadsword there. In case you didn't notice, it's a straight sword with a wide blade on it, designed for slashing. Something you'll want to know in this game is that two-handing a weapon doesn't inherently increase its damage. If a weapon has poor or no scaling in strength, it will not increase its damage, because by double-handing a weapon, you're increasing the strength rating for it by 50%. And if you're holding a weapon and using 50% more damage, you aren't doing 50% more strength if you are holding a weapon that doesn't scale with strength at all. So, for this area up here, I would recommend doing a mad dash. You're going to want to fall down here, grab this Estus shard, then run over there and grab that cell key and try to get out without dying. It will be difficult, but it is 100% not worth killing the enemies in this area. Like I said, it may take a few tries. I got ganked there. But you will eventually get it. You don't even need to kill all the enemies on the way there. Just run up there, grab it, run back out. So, in order to get past this knight, you don't have to kill him. Draw him out. Draw him out of the doorway. And run past him. Do the same route as last time. Go through there. Roll through all those barrels and such. Roll through here, down. And roll over here. Now you're back to where you were. See, that wasn't so difficult. You don't have to kill every enemy. When in doubt, use your shield. Blocking is not a fix-all, but it can be helpful. When in doubt, roll. If an enemy's coming at you and you don't think you can beat them, keep rolling. Keep tapping the roll button. Roll, 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 roll. It's the best way to get out of taking any damage is to keep rolling. Now that we've got that key, we are going to go down. You don't need to take this ladder. There is a halberd man here. Be careful, use your shield. Then attack him. Use all your stamina. Roll back. Attack, roll back. Very easy. Very easy. I say that, I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend anyone if they did not find it ever so easy. As I said, I was not very good at this game when I started. It took me multiple tries to beat the Eudex, multiple upon multiple. Now that we're down here, we're gonna open this cage and talk to this man. His name is, Greyrat the Thief. Grant his request. He is very helpful throughout the game. You can go ahead and put on his ring. It won't negatively affect anything. So, I was explaining fat rolling earlier. Let me do a demonstration. So, see how I'm 70%, more than 70% of my weight ratio? Now when I try to roll, it's really slow, and you don't get as many invincibility frames. So, it's best to not overload your character. Wait for that knight to one past. And then you can walk past him, and you won't have to fight him every time. Again, you don't have to kill every enemy, only if they're bothering you. So, now we're gonna go kill what's called a winged knight. Now, in your first playthrough of this game, I would recommend not killing it, because it is a very infuriating enemy. It's very frustrating to kill. It's got a large health pool, and it does not stagger, and it deals a lot of damage as well. So I would recommend not dealing with the Winged Knight until you're ready with him. So if you want to go down a ladder faster, if you've got a long ladder like this, hold down and hold B and you'll slide down the ladder. There are 2 enemies here. Now we're going to go deal with this Winged Knight. You can tell it's a Winged Knight because it's fat and it's got wings. Every single weapon in this game acts differently. So you've got to figure out your play style and what weapon you wish to use. For instance, a broadsword won't be the same as a rapier, because a rapier is a thrusting sword, and it has a different moveset, it can be used differently, and it's simply different. So you got to figure out your play style. There's great swords, there's ultra great swords, which are humongous swords that attack slowly but deal big damage. And then there's tiny swords, there's even daggers in the game. You got to figure out what your play style is and build your character around that. In your first playthrough, I would recommend using a knight character and continuing to use a straight sword weapon. Straight swords are balanced between attack damage and attack speed. They allow you to get good hits in while costing little stamina, but they also can stagger enemies relatively well if you've got the right weapon. Right, soon up here I'm going to show you how to defeat the second boss. You'll see he's relatively alright to defeat with a straight sword. So if we go up this elevator here, fear not, there aren't, well, there are enemies at the top, but they won't get you yet. There's an item back here. This is a shortcut. This goes to that other path we didn't go down earlier. There is 2 enemies to your left. Watch out for the big guy. This guy won't wake up until you get close to him. I would recommend going up now. There are 2 dogs up here and a halberd wielder, but the halberd wielder shouldn't be bothering you. Alright, again, what the strategy is you don't have to kill every enemy. Walk over here, jump down. Walk down here, jump down. If you roll when you hit the ground, you get down much faster instead of staggering. You can run past all these enemies in here. You can run past as many enemies as you want. Now, when you get down here, you don't have to kill the knights. You can walk down here. There's a shortcut. There's another shortcut. You can walk straight into the boss arena, which is this area right here is a boss arena. There will be a boss as soon as you get close to this door. Strategy for this boss is to try and get under it. It's so high off the ground and it has so little dexterity that you can get under it and not take any damage while still attacking it. Under or behind it? As far as I know, every boss in this game has a second phase. Second phase for this guy is he's going to start running around. You're going to want to delay your rolls right until he's almost about to touch you, and then get behind him as soon as he does the third roll. Wait for him to start firing his frost beam, and then start attacking you to get more attacks in. Now, in the second phase of this boss fight, you cannot get under him. Getting under him does not work, so don't try. Alright, so now he's dead. If you're doing a boss fight, you can, and I would recommend putting it on your hotbar. If you're doing a boss fight, you can put an Ember as a last-ditch heal. You won't get embered up when you defeat the boss, but you will be able to heal one extra time during the boss battle. You can only use Ember once until you die. No matter how many times you rest at a bonfire, you can only use Ember once. I like to organize my hotbar as follows. Ember, well, Estus Flask, then Ember, then Homeward Bone. Homeward Bones allow you to teleport to your last bonfire without having to lose your souls or anything. They allow you to return to your bonfire, but they are finite. And then I like to keep my fire bombs. And then my multiplayer items after that. I'm going to go ahead and put my coins here. And now we're going to be doing every gamer's favorite thing ever. Is we're going to start farming. We're going to start killing these knights. And this is why I got the gold coins. But I still recommend the Sovereignless Soul. So, heal up, pop a coin, and start attacking. You can tell when the knights drop something. They will they will drop it when they get into their kneeling phase, when they start kneeling down when they die. You can two-hand a weapon and it'll allow you to break through guards more easily. Watch out for this one up here. He is stronger, you can tell by his glowing red eyes and his blue cape. So I would not recommend trying this guy on your first playthrough. I'm just getting him to make the video easier to watch. Alright, so we got some armor, which is what I wanted. And we got his shield, which is also very good. We can wield neither of them. So what I'm trying to do is you're going to keep attacking these knights until you get a full set of armor and his shield and his sword. All of those items are very good in this game. They will requiring some leveling up in order to use, but they are very good. The slower you walk, the less enemies will detect you. So we've almost got a full armor set now. All we need is the pantaloons. We need the pantaloons, and we need the sword, and then we'll be done. Again, for your first playthrough, I would recommend sticking with a regular shield and a regular sword and heavy armor. But never, ever go heavier than 70%. It's not recommended. I do not recommend it. Remember, we're gonna just keep doing the same motion until we get the full set. I know it's a bit annoying, and it's not very good for streams, but during a real playthrough, it will be very helpful, even if it is a bit cumbersome. Okay, so when you die, you will drop all your souls and your ember. You cannot regain your ember. However, you can regain your souls, but only if you don't die again. If you die again, you will lose them permanently. But if you don't die again, you see this green puddle up here? The green aura means that those are your souls. If you pick them back up, you won't have lost them. But only if you don't die another time. I'm getting a bit cocky here, so I need to calm down. Alright, now all we need is the sword. look just like him. Remember to return to the shrine often to spend your souls lest you lose them.
Well, very that hey. Farewell, Ashen One. Well, very that hey knapp. Farewell, Ashen One. Well, very that hey. Farewell, Ashen Maid. Well, very that hey. Farewell, Ashen One, Maid.
The dog boss, the Vort of the Boreal Valley, is weak to lightning. I forgot to mention that. He is weak to lightning, so if you do have the yellow, the golden stuff still, I would recommend using it against him because he is weak to lightning. If you have the golden pine resin, that's what it is. The golden pine resin, then he is weak to it. You guys want to know MatPat's full name? It's Matthew Pathew. I love the capes in this game. They're so flowy and majestic. Who would have thought that it took so long to get one measly item? Skadoodle-bop. The game is taunting us at this point. My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined. Truly. Oh my gosh. Please! This is causing me pain. The world could crumble to pieces right now and I'd be happy. Alright, so now that we've got our now that we've got our set, we need to talk to this lady. And we get the banner from her. Talk to her 3 times to get all her dialogue. And she'll give you some extra items. So, now we're gonna travel back to the shrine. I'm so sorry for that interval there. That was just terrible. It was positively horrendous. It was actually painful to experience.
Welcome. Farewell, Ashen One. May the welcome. Then take. Farewell, Ashen One. Welcome. Then take. Farewell, Ashen One. May the flames guide.
Ashen One.
Welcome. Then take. Farewell, Ashen One.
Alright. I will see you guys in the next stream. This is the end of this stream. I'm done. I don't want to play this game